Monster. Today I'm going to show you what is said to be Gwyneth Paltrow's favorite food, or at least one of them. This is incredibly healthy, it's quick, it's simple, and you kind of just push together things you already have. Miscellaneous vegetables, panchan side dishes, and proteins, whatever kind you want, with just some drizzle of gochujang, the red pepper paste, and you top it with a sunny side egg. That's all it is. It's very delicious and filling and feeds a lot of people. And I'll just show you one way I do it, but you can definitely make this your own. Here's my lineup of ingredients. I just want to go over them real quick. You'll need eggs to slide on sunny side up on top of your whole bibimbap. I have some deeply fermented kimchi, and it's best to use fermented kimchi when you're cooking with it, with a smudge of butter to help soften it. I'm going to cook it off in some rendered bacon fat. You know how much I love my bacon. I'm trying to sneak it in there all the time. And I'm going to eyeball this just like me and my mama do, but precise measurements will be found on my blog, ft.SquishMonster.com. So I just have a little open container of sesame oil, some soy sauce. I have some crumbled up seaweed. If you can't find crumbled up, it's the same. You just take a sheet and just crumble it yourself in a Ziploc bag. I have some meat left over. You can use whatever is left over or what's on sale, and I'm gonna mix that with the marinade of the bulgogi stuff that I made with my mom. I have a video on that, and it's also gonna be on my blog. Because I'm eyeballing things, I just have a plate of garlic and some green onions and some sesame seeds, some shiitake mushrooms. I have some fern break, and these are found ready to eat already in a package at your Asian market. If not, you can just find the dried ones and just rehydrate them. And then I have my Korean radish, and I just put them into little matchsticks like this. But in a pinch, I guess any kind of radish would do, even a turnip. And then I have some soybean sprouts, not mung beans, soybean sprouts and some spinach back there that I'm going to both just kind of plunge into some hot water and shock in some ice cold water. And basically I'm just going to blanch them. And details about that will be found on my blog. I didn't think it would be very fun to share that part, so it'll be found on my blog. And let's get started, you guys. After I blanched both veggies, I plunged them in ice cold water just to shock them, to retain that vibrant color and to stop the cooking process. And what I've done to both the soybean sprouts and the spinach, I've just squeezed out any excess water. You want it to be not sopping wet. To this, I'm just going to add in a little sprinkle of salt, pepper, and then a drizzle of sesame oil, some garlic, some green onions, lots of sesame seeds, and then I'm going to mix it. You can do this with your hands or you can use some gloves. I'm going to go the sanitary method and just give this a nice toss together with your hands. And you can taste periodically just to see if it needs any more salt or any more seasoning or anything like that. But this is pretty much done. I'm going to do the same thing with my spinach. Swap bowls here. My spinach is right here. Take off my gloves for a little while. Drizzle in my sesame oil. Sprinkle in lots of garlic, green onions, sesame seed, and liberally salt and pepper. This is everything I'm going to saute. That's all that's really left here. I just have my bacon going in this pan. I'm going to add my kimchi and my butter to it and kind of saute it just so I bloom the flavors and everything is nice and soft. So after this are all of these. Using that same pan, and it'll help flavor everything else with that smoky bacon and spicy kimchi flavor. I'm going to glaze the bottom of my pan like this and put in my most blandest veggie of all. It's going to splatter, so be careful. My radish, my Korean radish. And I'm going to flavor almost everything similarly. I'm going to give it a nice coat in the oil. And then to this, I'm going to add in salt, pepper, nicely freshly ground coarse black pepper, salt, garlic, of course. I feel like garlic is just one of those things that makes everything better. And then towards the end, I'm going to put in my green onions, but sprinkle in my sesame seed now. And a little tiny drizzle of sesame or soy sauce, just a little tiny bit. just to give it that extra little depth of flavor, the color, and that salty bite. Same dealio here, glaze the bottom of my pan with the sesame oil, and I'm going to put in my not cremini, these are my shiitake mushrooms, and salt to bring out and draw some of that moisture out. Pepper. I know this is getting kind of redundant, right? But it's supposed to be simple because, you know, the banchan comes up pretty quickly, or really, ideally, you should just have these laying around and it's just comprised of leftovers. A little drizzle of sesame. Can't talk today. Soy sauce, just a little for some color and some flavor. I already put the sesame oil. I'm losing my mind today, you guys. Some garlic and some green onions towards the end. Give this a nice coating or sauce to coat everything together. And little rule of thumb, don't submerge your mushrooms, whatever mushroom it may be, in water. It's going to destroy them. It's a sponge and it'll just kind of soak everything up. Just brush it lightly with a wet paper towel or like a washcloth. Next to last are my fern breaks. And again, I'm going to splatter, so be very careful. And just throw that into the pan. And this is the same stuff that I put in my yukgaejang, the beef brisket hangover soup. Kind of break it apart with your spoon or spatula, and drizzle in your soy sauce. And remember, just be mindful that you don't add too much salt to this because everything has been layered with salt and seasoning. And you know, the soy sauce is very salty. Just a little tad bit of salt, lots of fresh ground black pepper, lots of garlic, more garlic. And then towards the very end, put in your green onions, but not before you put in your sesame seeds. And since this is already ready to go, you just kind of want to heat it through and let the garlic do its thing, do its job by infusing it with that nice garlicky flavor. You don't have to cook this until it's mushy. So just give it a quick toss and let it go for just a couple minutes. Last thing to do is cook off my bulgogi. And it's been sitting in this marinade at this point for a good 30 minutes or so. It's going to be hot. And depending on how well cooked you like your meat, just let it go. And all that soy sauce will kind of caramelize and make it delicious. I love bulgogi. And if you want to make more, not just for the purpose of this, obviously you make, 5 pounds of this stuff and you can freeze it. It freezes pretty well. Here are my plate of goodies. I wanted to show you guys before I dug into it. My rice is just about steamed and I'm going to fry up an egg and I'll show you how to make the sauce. Here is my Korean radish mu, my fern break, my shiitake mushrooms, my crumbled up roasted seaweed, my kimchi flavored with lots of bacon and butter, and then we have our spinach, our soybean sprouts, and our bulgogi. In my bowl here, I just have a spoonful of red pepper paste, gochujang, and then I'm going to drizzle in my sesame oil, sprinkle in my sesame seed, just a little kiss of sugar, just to balance out the spicy bite of this, and give it a nice mix. Here is my bibimbap. I think that mom and dad are really going to enjoy this for dinner tonight. I just laid everything on top to make beautiful colors on top of my rice. And there's my sauce and a sunny side egg. It's very important to have a sunny side egg to mix in with everything. And the heat of everything else will kind of continue to cook the egg yolk. It's going to be nice and creamy and rich. I mean, you can make this and personalize this to make it your own, so have fun with it. Whatever veggies or protein you'd like, or whatever you have laying around. Thanks so much for spending time with me. This is the Squishy Monster, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!